Welcome back to Good Morning Sri Lanka. We have Sonali who is with us, and we were just asking her the question about batik. There was a time that it was unpopular, so to speak, and now there's been that rise. But why was that?
Okay, to answer that question, actually it's a good question you asked this, because I would like younger designers to hear this. I told you my father-in-law was very successful in the 70s.
Yeah.
If you look at our culture, and probably this is so of a lot of businesses elsewhere as well, but it's a learning curve and it's a lesson we need to learn. When something becomes popular, people who are hungry to, establish businesses or start something, they look at it and think, wow, that's something I can do. If you, I was talking to her a while before, and I was saying, it's like the India Appakade down the road, right? Like you'll have a string hopper shop that sells string hoppers. Is a bustling business, and everybody sees them growing from a motorcycle to a van, and people think, okay, that's a good business to be in. So then the 2 doors next, somebody starts the same thing. And I think this is what happened with batik. But if you're not passionate about anything you do, and you don't really have not just your heart and soul, but you don't have a vision where you want to go with it, and it's just motivated by, I need to make money out of this, you lose focus, and you cannot continue with it as a business. Then what you do is a deja vu. You see something, you copy it. So
thinking that that's the formula.
That's right. So how many people want a copycat of it? If you're paying certain value, you want to have something that is original.
Yes.
Even with the string hoppers, you don't want to buy the same thing from the other place. If the other place turned it into a pilau or something else, you might buy it. But so that's why I'm saying you can still do batik, but reinvent the wheel. If you look at my work over a period, and I'm not saying I'm a benchmark in this, but maybe because I'm an artist, I do something, a collection of something. It's successful, I might repeat it, but I can never do the same thing again. And because there is a free flow, that somebody who will own, let's say, 3 saris will go for the 4th and the 5th, because they see a fresh idea, something different, and it adds to your wardrobe. But if you were to have the same thing replicated, you don't want to have 10 saris in different colors. And if you ask her, if we go for a wedding and I'm wearing this in these color tones, you don't want to wear this in a turquoise blue and a pink or something. You know what I mean?
I think that has happened to a lot of ladies. And I think we're in the same thing, in fact.
Yes. So what happened, coming back to it, so what happened was they made it commonplace, and they had the same motives repeated, from a kaftan to a sarong to an evening dress. That doesn't work. So that's why I think it died, and I hope, because now again you see a lot of people going into it, I hope the young people realize the need to keep changing, because then it's going to work and it's going to be fun.
And the important thing here is, especially if you are a person who wants to be doing it, it is your passion. That is been the driving force for Sonali to be creative.
And that's what makes you different. Of course. That's what makes each piece that you make different. But on that note, now we have another beautiful collection to show our audience members. I think this is to do with weddings, as you mentioned earlier. So I think this is something that everyone's going to sit up and watch. So let's go check it out. Oh, there we go. It's beautiful. So these designs are ones that you've done specifically for the bride. They're custom made.
They're custom made. This is from a photo shoot, so they're not original bride.
It's a collection.
Yes, because out of respect for their privacy. But it's to give an idea, because sometimes when customers come, they like to see what would they, what are the collection you have. So even in these, we do not repeat these designs. We'll have concepts, and there will be.
Is this? That's a very Indian look, I would say.
Yes, because if you look at the moment, there's a huge influence, Indian influence in our culture.
That's very true.
So, especially for weddings, I hear now they even have several ceremonies and dance sequences.
They do, and there's the costume changes in the middle. So it's not just one sari.
It's a mini Indian Bollywood movie.
Like a fiesta going on there. But
will you ever be having something like that?
We'll see, Trace. I have many years to decide this, I hope. But I'm sure now when it comes to wedding trends, especially now, I'm sure there might be, a few brides to be in our audience today as well. So let's speak about the up and coming trends that you see. Is it more vintage? Is it more contemporary?
Actually, there is a mix, because there is a huge influence of the Asiatic region into fashion now. So you see this vintage thing coming up. But what's nice is, again, to create a difference, that you do see the fusion of, what is contemporary along with vintage, and therefore it becomes contemporary. You know what I mean? That the blend creates its own new signature. But it's nice because you see things like beeralu from our cultures, different laces from the other parts of the world, embroidery, a lot of these things being put together, and it's lovely to see the mishmash of everything together, and that you can have a subtle element that brings out.
Definitely. And now you're someone who pioneered something like batik on silk. So this is something that not many people would have tried out, I'm sure, but like this. I mean, you're an artist, you mentioned earlier, Sonali. So what is it like to be an artist as well as an entrepreneur, a businesswoman? Which side comes out on top?
That I have to answer is the artist, which is probably not the best way to go. So you don't make sense of the rupee. But having said that, if you're an artist, that will always override. That will always override, because that's where your passion or your heart lies. But you have to be responsible when you employ people, and you have to go forward. So as an entrepreneur, I think one of the most important thing that I try to focus on is that I'm able to sustain what I have,
of course,
and make sure that there is also a little bit of a growth. I'm a very careful person, in the sense I don't have the business skills of wanting to take too much risk. I like my comfort zone. So,
but her comfort zone has brought out some wonderful more clips for us as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So I'm sure your comfort zone is a good zone to be in.
Very good zone to be, yes.
And now you've done so many great things here in Sri Lanka. You've set a benchmark and a platform for so many designers as well. Again, we have a few more designs on screen. So this is something, the new way of draping the sari, is it? Or this is the artistic photography,
yes.
But that's beautiful.
Yes.
Letting the ladies have their moment here.
Yeah, it's true. And I was just looking at the saris, and even, the blouse and the sari,
is so important that you don't perfectly match it like it used to be.
I was just going to ask you that, because sometimes it's a completely different design on the blouse.
Yes.
But what's the key to keep in mind there when you're matching, not matching, but sort of
when you're putting
together? Yes,
just
together. Blouse and a sari.
Learn to put it together. That's the idea, and I think it has a lot to do with your confidence. If you're in a comfortable place with yourself, as long as you're not having a psychedelic pink with probably a muted
olive green or
something. I don't know, maybe that'll go.
She's thinking, that will actually go.
Yeah, you might be giving me ideas.
Wow.
Yes, it's just putting things together.
Yeah. Yes. It is, isn't it? Yeah. And now when it comes to, future plans that you have as well personally, so are there like goals that you've set for yourself when it comes to where you want to see the designs and the brand going?
My main achievement, or one thing I really want to do, is I want to change things for my employees. I employ a lot of women, and they're from very challenged backgrounds. Some of them are disabled, some of them are sole breadwinners. I like to see their lives changing. So with that goal in mind, we work towards that vision. And yes, we've been fortunate that we have some businesses out whenever it comes our way. We also have a lot of respect from our customers who are overseas because of that.
I see. Okay.
They support our work in that sense.
So I guess being socially conscious at the same time is very important as well. But Sonali, I think that we've just about come to the end of a segment. It's been an
enlightening experience as well. I personally have not been a person who's been too fond of batiks. I will be honest there, but seeing some of the collections which were there on screen, and I think there might be a few newfound fans, new following.
I might give him a shirt for his next show.
Oh, look at that!
And it's going to be unique, and it will be a unique one.
Honesty is the best policy.
Indeed. And with that, we're going to have to wrap up today. But of course, it is your Friday, so that means hopefully you'll be getting some plans and everything figured out. As you can see, she is already ready.
Yeah, but it's also great to stay in on a Friday night. I'm sure that's underappreciated. I don't know, Chase. Maybe I might. So with that, we hope we all have a great weekend, and we'll see you again very soon, hopefully. Till then, take care.